So, hey there, welcome back for another episode of Disruptive Spark Minutes, where we're just going to start over again. Okay, so today's episode is really one from the heart. It's a little bit hard to see where I am right now. I'm going to pan around a little bit, but I'm actually sitting on the third floor of a conference room in Manhattan, which today is Disruptive Spark office space. So this is a monumentous moment in my own business development and advisory journey that I wanted to share with all of you. And I wanted to use this as an opportunity to tell you about a shift that I needed to make in my thinking that allowed this to happen. So hello and welcome to today's Mindset Minute, where we use our Disruptive Spark strategies to help people blow up. We're going to just change that for a second. Welcome to this Disruptive Spark Minute, where we take little opportunities to have big impact and make you the game changer. So I'm Susan, I'm your host. And I wanted to tell you about how this ended up happening. So it's been on my heart and in my mind to start having people be able to, by people, I mean clients, be able to come to my office space, but I don't really have office space. It's in my house. And so being able to do that is, exponentially hard. Oftentimes I have meetings in cafes and things like that, but for myself and my clients, a lot of times what we're doing is recording content. We're getting them prepped for social media. We do all kinds of things that really requires private space. And so the mindset minute that I want to share is it would have been embarrassing or shameful to me in the past to tell somebody that I actually don't have my own space. So I would have wanted for people to think that I'm a big company, right? And big companies have their own space. So I would have been just far less likely to tell people what I was trying to do, which means the people that actually want to help me would not even know that I had an issue that they could solve. And so I'm going to ask you to jump into this conversation with me and just tell me, am I the only one? How often are you keeping things too close to the vest? Because there is a belief or a fear or a worry that it's going to put you in an unfavorable light. And that's what's so valuable about this lesson, because what we do know from our research and all the work we do with clients in your position is that asking for things ranks up on the top things that people really hesitate to do. And so I wanted to share a couple of things that might resonate with you. And I wrote them down so I make sure I get them right. The first belief that we really need to disrupt and rewire for ourselves is this belief that knowing everything is what makes you valuable. Beliefs always come down to some sort of value or worth. And this one happens to hit that core of, am I really valuable? And it's really common. Really, really common. First of all, if you're struggling with that right now, you're not alone. It's really, really common. It's one of the number one things we help our clients to work through is these very natural feelings around, am I really worthy? Can I really make this much money? Who am I to do so? Why should people listen to what I have to say? Those are real. Those are real. Those are issues. I deal with them. My clients deal with them. And instead of pretending like it's not happening, we want you to tackle it head on, because here's what happens when you're not allowed to be truthful, right? What you've told yourself, or what you've been told, quite frankly, is you're not allowed to be truthful. And so here's 3 things that happen. If you find yourself overcommitting, or the opposite of that, under delivering, that's actually a belief issue more than anything else. And it's stemming from this belief that I'm just simply not allowed to say, I don't know, or I need help, or I tried it and it didn't work. These are very challenging concepts sometimes for us to really come to terms with. Here's another way that it happens. It'll knock you out of alignment, which means that you're actually not showing up as your most authentic self. And whenever there's a disconnect between what you believe inside, what you're thinking, and what you're feeling, you actually don't, I'm going to say, shine as bright as you could be. So if you feel like sometimes your light is dull, or dulled is the word I would use, or sometimes our clients will say, I just always felt like my messages just didn't quite resonate in the way that I wanted them to, especially on social media. It's actually not what you're saying. It's what you're believing about what you're saying. Because if you're not in total alignment, you will dim yourself. That's the word that we like to use. So that's the second one. And then the third one that I want you to think about that happens as a result of this belief is you often take on too many things with this belief that, oh, I'll get it done. And you block yourself. And so then you're overworking, right? You're doing way too much. It's keeping you from reaching out to the people that actually really want to help you. I was pleasantly surprised, and I hope that anyone watching who's experienced this as well is pleasantly surprised with how much people actually really want to help you. They really do. They just don't need you. They don't know you need help. And remember, we're always, wanting to look our best. So we're oftentimes hiding a lot of the symptoms that go along with that. So this office space today is a total representation of my transformation and knowing that I needed space and what was I going to do and what were my alternatives, and asking people, how are you managing this? I don't really have enough clientele that I can support office space. I don't really want to invest in office space, right? So maybe owning office space isn't the right idea for me. Those are really truthful statements. So what are other people doing? And of course, one of my business partners, I got to give a shout out to my friends at PH Consulting and Media. If you need an advertising specialist, they are the ones to go to. They have office space here in Manhattan that they allowed me to sublet for them to use for my company's needs. So when you come here, you're here as a Disruptive Spark client, and I have my partners to thank for that. But it's only possible because I asked. I called Phil and I said, hey, I know you have this space in the city. What are you doing with it? Is there, availability for me? Could I rent it from you? And, it was in his best interest to do that because he doesn't use the space all the time. So you might as well, put the things that you own to work for you. That's another concept that we'll talk about at another day. So tell me what you think. Was this helpful? Do you find that these are things you're experiencing? If you have a story to tell, I absolutely encourage you to put it in the comments. And remember, blowing up what I love to call our bullshittery is one of our hallmarks. But you can always go to the website, disruptivespark.com, and right there will pop up for you is access to our Disruptive Spark strategy, all the things that we use day in and day out for ourselves and for our clients. It's yours to have. It's the most beautiful thing you could ever use. So I highly recommend you grab it and share it with someone else. Thanks again. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next Disruptive Spark moment.